Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic, our NFL Week 16 preview. Can you believe we're only 2 weeks away to the end of the NFL regular season? And as usual, we are joined by our awesome guest, Justin Pooni of Process Sports Radio. Justin, happy holidays to you and your family. How are you today?
Happy holidays to you and your family too, Mike. I am doing well. I'm back home in Vancouver. We were just talking about off before we started recording that Vancouver got a fresh dump of snow on Monday. So we'll actually have snow on the ground on Christmas, which is not a common occurrence here. So I'm just happy to be back home with my family and stuff, catching up with everybody, socially distanced and stuff like that. I had a couple of Zoom family calls and stuff like that. So it's definitely been fun. And I know you said you're back in Montreal, so it's good to have to be home for the holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm like you said, I'm home here for the holidays in Montreal, and we're gonna have a wet Christmas here in Montreal. It's gonna be, I think, 15 degrees and rain. So
Sounds like a Vancouver Christmas.
exactly, it's a 2020 Montreal Christmas, I guess you can say, right? So
Yeah.
let's get right into it. We have, when was the last time there was an NFL game on a Friday? Like it's 2020 when you have NFL on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays, and when the 0-13 New York Jets lose to the LA or beat the LA Rams, which you picked somehow. I don't know how, what prompted you to make that decision and ended up being right about it. And now the New York Jets are in trouble of not being able to select Trevor Lawrence with the 1 overall pick because they're going to be at number 2. And just honestly, RIP Jets fans, they deserve so much better.
Yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate that like I told you last week, I just had a feeling in like the pit of my stomach. I thought Jared Goff was going to play bad, but he didn't play particularly bad. It was just
you know how the Rams lost that game? I looked into it. I looked at the stat sheet. I watched some of the game, of course. They lost on third down. I think they were 1 for
They weren't very good on third down. Yeah, they were horrible on third down conversions, and I killed them, right? And the Jets got timely plays on offense, and they got some timely plays otherwise. And it's good for me. My Seahawks now have a chance this week to clinch the NFC West against those same Rams, and we'll talk about that game in a bit. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Pittsburgh again lost to Cincinnati, another big upset. The Steelers, they kind of look like a little bit of frauds now, but yeah.
Just like you said, Justin, anything, and it's a cliche, but anything could happen on any given Sunday.
Given Sunday, anything can happen. Exactly.
Yeah. So with that being said, like I said, we have football on a Friday for the first time in I don't know how long. I should have done that research beforehand, but we have Christmas Day football. It's Christmas Eve tonight, but we have Christmas Day football tomorrow with the Minnesota Vikings at the New Orleans Saints. And who are you taking this one, Justin?
I think the Saints win. I think the Saints, they played a good game against the Chiefs last week. Although they don't have Michael Thomas, he's out till the playoffs. I just think the Saints, they want to still get that first seed locked up, right? It's pretty evident that it's still in play. So I do think the Saints win, and the Vikings pretty much have nothing to play for anymore. I know they're kind of hanging around in the playoff chase. They haven't been officially eliminated yet, but I think the Saints win. I think they're more talented. I think Drew Brees with another game under his belt would be even better. So I think the Saints win this game.
By the way, it needs to be said that not only is this is a rematch from the Minneapolis Miracle
in Minneapolis,
and then the Kirk Cousins somehow, all of a sudden realizing how he can play well in primetime games and then beating the Saints in New Orleans in the wild card game.
Was it the wild card or was it divisional last year?
It was the wild card game because the Saints, Packers, and help me here a sec. Saints, Packers, Niners, 49ers. Yeah, we're all tied at 13-3. And because I think of the record in the conference, it was the Saints ended up getting a wild card.
Yeah.
Ended up being a wild card team, even though they're 13-3, which I think was the same thing that happened back in 2011. Yeah, because I think you had the 15-1 Packers. And then 12-4, 13-3 49ers, and then the Saints also got screwed over and were 13-3 and in the third spot instead of within one of the.
And they went to Seattle and they lost to Seattle that year. That's when Marshall.
No, that was the year before. 2011.
The year before.
Alex Smith. That was the Alex Smith comeback.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but all this
in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, but all this to say though, for this one, I just think that I mean, look, the Saints don't care about that. Like, Sean Payton and the Saints, they care more about locking up that top seed in the NFC more than avenging the Minneapolis Miracle and that comeback by the Vikings at in New Orleans last year in the wild card game. But like you said, I think the Saints are just they're just stable. They're they're one of the best teams on defense. And with Drew Brees back, he's not nearly as good as he used to be, but he's still effective enough to
Still
throw
Drew
the ball
Brees.
accurately. Still Drew Brees, exactly, and they still have Alvin Kamara, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And the Vikings, they're just hard to explain this year. They're just they're
They're
just not
they
good.
have that's the thing. They have high end talent with running back, wide receiver. They still have. I think their defense is kind of in flux where they had to lose guys like Xavier Rhodes, Everson Griffin. They're going through a change on the defensive side, I think. So
Young secondary, very young
young
secondary.
secondary, right? So I think that's something they have to address in the offseason. I think Minnesota, though, unfortunately, they're kind of stuck in that mediocre pack where they don't have that elite quarterback to put them over the top, but they have a Kirk Cousins who's good enough to not keep them from bottoming out, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think they're kind of in that same mold as like an Atlanta or like kind of one of those teams kind of stuck in the middle, right? So
Yeah, and to me, it's like as the Vikings, when you have that kind of talent at running back and wide receiver, and I don't think their offensive line is awful. Like it's not a great offensive line, but it's not awful. You'd expect to see more week to week out of that offense, like way more week to week.
exactly.
So, like you
So
said, it points to Kirk Cousins, but also, just again, they're playing Jeff Gladney and Cameron Dantzler in meaningful snaps. They're rookie corners, so that's a large part of it as well. But again, you want to see more out of a team that has Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, also too deep at tight end with Kyle Rudolph and
Rudolph,
Irv Smith Jr., who's been having
Irv
a good
Smith,
year as well. So
and they got a bell cow and Dalvin Cook, right?
exactly, like you'd expect to see more out of that team, and I just think that they'll look in the draft this year to maybe replace Kirk Cousins. But yeah, just
Yeah,
Saints in this one all the way on Christmas Day.
yeah, most definitely.
So now on Saturday, so that's Christmas Day. Christmas, what's it
Triple
called?
header on Boxing Day.
Exactly. Now, well, I mean, they don't care about Boxing Day down in the U.S., but it happens
No,
to be
they
Boxing
don't.
Day and my dad's birthday on Saturday.
Well,
And
happy
we
birthday
have,
to your dad then.
thank you very much. Happy birthday, Dr. Jonathan Lang. And yes, on Saturday, we have a triple header. We have at 1:00 starting with the Tampa Bay Bucks visiting the Detroit Lions, and I just think Tampa all the way in this one. Also Detroit, by the way, they're I think it's Darrell Bevel, their interim head coach, and I think they're
He's out.
their linebackers coach. Yeah, they have like 3 coaches on the COVID-19 list because
Mm-hmm.
I think they tested positive, or was it just like
I think it was
tracing?
contact tracing, if I remember correctly.
But
But I could be wrong on that. But I
but
think it
either
was
way, they will
contact tracing,
not be available to coach in the game on Sunday.
right? And also, Bucks can clinch a playoff spot with a victory on Detroit. And like you said, I think the Bucks clinch that playoff spot on Saturday. Excuse me. Relatively easy. Looks like Antonio Brown got his first touchdown in a while, right? So maybe that's a sign of things to come. So I just think, yeah, like you said, it's a pretty easy game to pick. I think it's the Bucks all the way.
But here's my issue with the Bucks, though. The Bucks are in that category of Pittsburgh Steelers this year as one of the frauds in the NFL because if you look at the teams that they beat up on Carolina, they beat up on LA, on the LA Chargers, they beat up on on Atlanta. They came back, of course, Tom Brady with a comeback against the Atlanta Falcons last week, and they do deserve credit for their big win against the Packers way back when. But they've also lost to the Bears and they got
The
destroyed
Saints, they got
twice
beat
by the
up by.
Saints. Exactly. So to me, like, yeah,
So
this one they'll win because they're playing an inferior opponent in the Detroit Lions, who will be missing their one of their head coach and key other coaches on their staff. But yeah, just Tampa, they'll clinch the playoff spot, but they ain't gonna go very far in the playoffs, I don't think.
I agree with you 1000%. They'll clinch the spot. I just like you said, I don't think they don't have the camaraderie or the chemistry yet, I feel, to make a deep run in the playoffs where you look at some other NFC teams like Peyton, Breeze, Wilson, Carroll, teams like that, Rogers, LaFleur, they have like at least a year or they have time that's built together, right? I don't think Brady and Arians, and I don't see that synergy in Tampa Bay yet where Arians and Brady are on the same page yet. You know what I mean? I
But
think
I
they're just
also
kind of
think
getting
Brady's washed.
Hey, I think Brady's had although they had ups and downs this year, he has put up decent numbers this year as well. which, compared to what Jameis Winston put up last year, yes, he put up more yardage, but the turnovers and stuff like that, I think Tampa Bay, they're a good team. They're not a great championship level team at this particular time. Next year, who knows, right? But
it could be the shortened off season, but again, we're in week 16.
Yeah.
Week 16 right now. So if Tom Brady can't, if that offense with like they're 5 deep at wide receiver and 2 deep or 1,
Yeah.
I think OJ Howard's out, but they still have Gronk at tight end. It's like, and they're also with
Cameron
Fournette Jones at running back. Sorry. No, just I was saying
Cameron Braid. They still
Cameron Braid. Yeah, but he's still not a bad second tight end. And if they can't get that offense going, like honestly, it comes down to the quarterback, it comes down to the coaching, it comes down to the scheme with all that talent if they can't get it going. So anyway, I've maintained that Brady, given even despite his 6 rings and all the success that he had, he is not on the same level as Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes now, what he's amounting to, but that could be a story for another day. But yeah, just give me Tampa in this game against Detroit. And let's move on to the San Fran at Arizona Cardinals game. Yeah, I think this one's pretty obviously Arizona, but who knows? What do you think?
It's kind of close to tell, I think. I think these teams always play hard. It's a division matchup. It's a battle of the teams that play in the same stadium, which is going to be fun. But like I said, the 49ers aren't a team to just roll over and kind of die. They'll play hard. I think Kyle Shanahan will have his team ready to play. I think Nick Mullins is injured, though. He had elbow. He's going to require surgery on his elbow, so he's out for the rest of the year. So that means CJ Beathard is in. So I'll take the Cardinals, but it won't be an easy game. I think it'll be a pretty tight game, tight divisional game. And the Cardinals need this win too, because if they want to stay in that playoff hunt, they're going to need this game just as much as anybody, because they're holding on to the last playoff spot right now as well. So give me the Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, and just watching that 49ers team, I mean, look, they play hard, and they're obviously well coached both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but at the same time, they're just so banged up, and it's just not fair the amount of injuries that they suffered this year. But they also, I mean, yeah, Nick Mullins, he's not going to play this week. It's going to be CJ Beathard, but just also the turnovers killed them against the Cowboys last week. And just at the end of the day, like if Arizona has a chance to put them away, they can. But if they're gonna, if San Fran is gonna hang around, yeah, it could come down to a game-winning field goal either way. But if Arizona has a chance to deliver that knockout blow in the 3rd or 4th quarter, they should absolutely go for it, and San Fran will be done. But yeah, give me Arizona in this one.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then the Saturday night game. This is a really interesting matchup, I find. You have the Miami Dolphins at the Las Vegas Raiders. By the way, Derek Carr is going to return for Vegas.
Yeah,
but I still take the Dolphins in this one personally.
Yeah, I think that loss to the Chargers kind of knocked the wind out of the sails of the Raiders. They were trying to keep, they're still alive in the playoff push, but I think that loss to the Chargers kind of just shot their playoff hopes, as we talked about last week. It was a tough overtime loss that, it's like you mentioned before, looked like the Chargers were just throwing the game away with their missed field goals and stuff like that. And, Justin Herbert pulled up the win in overtime, and I think that just kind of knocked the wind out of the Raiders' sails. And I think that's it for them. They're done. I think Miami's too talented. Miami's a better team on the defensive side, right? So I think that the Dolphins will win pretty easily.
Yeah, but and speaking of the Dolphins, like it's really their defense. Their defense is just that, like, one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they just create turnovers left and right.
Xavier Howard, I think Xavier Howard is definitely one of the top cornerbacks in the league, who I think he kind of gets undershadowed a little bit, but behind guys like Ramsey and Marshawn Lattimore, a bit more outspoken guys like that. I think Xavier Howard is an elite cornerback in this league.
And also, don't forget about the guy who plays opposite him. Byron Jones is also
Byron
not too
Jones,
shabby.
Ex-Cowboy, Byron Jones. Yeah.
So
I think we're both in agreement that Dolphins will take that one.
Yeah, Miami definitely over Vegas. It'll be a fun one, though. It's a really fun matchup, honestly. But just because Vegas has to keep up with their awful defense and put up a lot of points.
It's a shootout. They play in a shootout like that.
But just again, Miami's one of the best defenses they've faced this year, so it's gonna be. I think Miami will take this one. So,
and I think Brian Flores is just to finish off on the Dolphins. I love what Brian Flores has done with the Dolphins, really remolding that culture from such a poor culture what they have before, and really establishing a real foundation there, which is truly important in the NFL, right? So kudos to Miami. I think they're definitely on the come up.
Yeah, for sure. And I find Brian Flores is an example. You look at Brian Flores, you look at Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll's an old school guy, but you look at the fact that I find defensive head coaches still have a role and a purpose in the NFL. Because obviously everyone, I find, for a good year, at least that offseason 2019, everyone wanted the next Sean McVay, next Cliff Kingsbury, next offensive mastermind.
Kyle Shanahan, Matt Nagy, all those guys.
But at the same time, there's still value in having a coach like Mike Vrabel or Brian Flores, or you look at the old school Belichick and Mike Tomlin. And your guy Pete Carroll, of course. So Brian Flores is definitely in that category as one of those really good defensive head coaches. So
most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and with that being said, we're gonna get right into our favorite top of the show segment, our 6 to win in 60 seconds. Justin, I'll let you go first on this one.
No,
I'll put you on the spot.
Okay, Mike, I will. Perfect. Put me on the spot. Okay, so we're gonna go from
60 seconds today. All right, 6 and 60.
Everything seconds. Up until Sunday, and we're gonna do Sunday night separately. So I got you.
Okay, ready in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Cleveland Browns versus New York Jets. No upset again for the Jets. The Browns will crush the Jets in a blowout, I believe, and the Browns will now become the favorites for the AFC North, in my opinion. Ravens and Giants. Give me the Ravens. The Ravens look like they're rolling. The Giants kind of take a step back. Texans and Bengals. Who cares about this game? But I'll take the Texans. Bears, Jaguars. The Bears will win, and the Bears with the Arizona potential loss could crawl back into the playoff picture. Then we have the Chiefs and Falcons. Chiefs all day for that. Steelers, Colts. Steelers slide continues. Give me the Colts. Browns and Chargers. Broncos, Chargers. Give me the Broncos. Washington, Carolina. Washington. Rams, Seahawks for the NFC West. The Seahawks will win the NFC West on Saturday in a very close game. And finally, your Cowboys and Eagles. And it'll be Jalen Hurts defeating the Dallas Cowboys, and they will still have a chance for the division title. Give me the Eagles.
Right at the buzzer again, Justin. Well done. All right. Well, again, I look forward to having discussions about some of those picks in our follow-up segments, but I'll go ahead whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready, Mike, I'm ready to go.
Go for it.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
So from the top, Cleveland Browns, New York Jets. Jets got lucky last week. Browns won't be as bad on third downs as the Rams were. Give me the Browns in that one. Give me the Baltimore Ravens beating the New York Giants at home. Baltimore has been low-key much, much better in the last couple of games after a rough middle part of the season. Give me Houston Texans over the Cincinnati Bengals, even though the Bengals looked like a non-3 10-1 team, whatever their record is in that win against Pittsburgh. So give me Houston over Cincinnati. Give me the LA Chargers over the Denver Broncos. I just think that Justin Herbert, again, is rookie of the year candidate. Justin Herbert will keep rolling, and that'll be too much for Denver, especially on the road. Give me Washington over Carolina. Washington has had their issues also with quarterback, with Dwayne Haskins having, running into strippers, but that's another story. But still give me Washington with that defense over Carolina, and then Dallas over Philadelphia in that 4:15 window. I just think the Cowboys have generated a lot of turnovers recently, and with rookie Jalen Hurts starting, he's going to turn the ball over a few times as well, and the Cowboys will be able to take advantage of that on offense.
Perfect, Mike. I let you go a little bit overtime for the Cowboys because I want to hear your thought process. I would assume you would want the Cowboys to lose to help better their draft chances. And I was kind of surprised you went to the Eagles losing and the Cowboys winning. Very interesting take there. Why do you want the Cowboys to win? I would thought you would want them to lose.
It's not what I want. It's just what I think will happen because the Cowboys have forced 7 turnovers in the last 2 games. Even, okay, sure, against bad teams, but still the Eagles are not a great team, and Jalen Hurts is a rookie quarterback. And, okay, maybe Miles Sanders will run crazy over the Cowboys just because the Cowboys still have given up 150 yards rushing to the 49ers last week, and they're still one of the worst rush defense in the NFL. But I just see, again, the Cowboys, that defense will create turnovers. They're just, it's a streaky thing for NFL defenses and turnovers. If you don't get them for a while, then it's just, it's that much harder to force turnovers. And if you're on a streak of generating a lot of forced fumbles and interceptions, will just happens naturally every week, or seems to happen naturally every week. And I think that will keep going, especially against a rookie quarterback in Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is playing really well, though, Mike. Come on, you have to admit, Jalen Hurts has been playing really well. Even the game against Arizona, him and Kyler Murray went back and forth. that game could have been pulled out by either team at the end. I really like what I'm seeing from Jalen Hurts. Like, I really do like what I'm seeing now. Like I said, no team has any footage on him or anything like that, and they got to build on that. But I like what I'm seeing so far from Jalen Hurts, so that's why I'm rolling with the Eagles. So, but we'll see.
I don't disagree with you, but I just think that again, the Cowboys they're playing their best football of the season at this point, which isn't saying much, but it's it's worth something against a team that's not
No, definitely.
that's closer to the bottom than the top in the Philadelphia Eagles. So and with that being said, we're gonna continue to our next segment, lock and load pick. Now, taking the Rams last week, I don't regret that. I just that was a logic defying outcome. And your brainlessly bold prediction ended up being right in terms of taking the Jets over the Rams somehow. But either way, my lock and load pick this week, I just don't see the Falcons having a chance against Kansas City on the road, just because Patrick Mahomes, that offense, of course, just in any planet, any situation, day, time, weather, whatever, they'll put up yards, they'll put up points. And I just don't see, even if the Falcons end up getting an early lead, the Chiefs have the perfect offense to be able to come back. Even if they're down 30 going into the fourth quarter, they'll find a way to beat the Falcons, even if it's a close game. So Chiefs over Falcons in my lock and load of the week.
Okay. For me, my lock and load pick of the week is the Indianapolis Colts defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Indy D matches up really nice against the Pittsburgh offense that is struggling mightily. Big Ben threw 38 times on Monday night for only 170 yards. Their rushing attack is non-existent. It's clear that Juju Smith-Schuster is more interested in dancing other teams' logos and getting lit up by other teams' cornerbacks than playing the game of football. And I think it's kind of evident now that Juju is not a number one receiver. I think I was kind of reading some stuff, and ever since Antonio Brown left Pittsburgh, he's had one 100-yard game since Antonio Brown has left, which is kind of now, again, Big Ben was injured last year and into this year and stuff like that. But I think Pittsburgh, this slide continues. I think their defense is not the problem. It's the offense. They're letting Big Ben throw the ball too much. The rushing attack is non-existent. And I just think their wideouts, for how much praise they were getting earlier on in the year, I just don't think they're that good, to say it lightly. So I give me the Indianapolis Colts beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know the point spread's 1.5 right now. It's going to be a lot more than that. Give me the Colts to beat the Steelers.
So I agree with you on everything on that, and we'll get more into that in one of the later segments. But what I want to, I guess, mention is, do you remember when Antonio Brown was the one posting Instagram stories and TikToks from or maybe not TikToks at the time, but Instagram stories from the
Facebook Live and stuff like that, yeah.
So do we think Juju Smith-Schuster is becoming that, diva wide receiver who isn't as good as he's as the problems that he's having off the field or before on the field, but before games type of thing with the TikToks?
Unfortunately for Juju, the thing is he's a better TikTok star than he is an NFL wide receiver. He's very big on social media and very, much respect to that. That's what it is in society now. If you're good on social media, you get a platform, stuff like that. But Juju, he's a good number 2 receiver, right? And Chase Claypool, I think, is a good number 2, 3 receiver, right? Same with Deontay Johnson. Pittsburgh needs a number 1 wideout that can take that pressure off Juju, and then everybody can kind of slide into the right role. I think Pittsburgh, a guy like Antonio Brown would be Odell Beckham Jr. might be a perfect fit for Pittsburgh in the potential offseason. Now, whether the Browns want to trade a division rival, that remains to be seen. I'm just throwing that out there for sake of throwing a name out there, right? But I definitely think that Juju and Pittsburgh, they need help on that wideout position. I think the running back position as well, they need to upgrade on it because James Conner can't seem to stay healthy, and Benny Snell, right? So I think Pittsburgh, like you mentioned before, they're 11-0 undefeated season, and they're kind of coming out as frauds now, right? So we'll see what happens, but I definitely think Pittsburgh's in a whole world of trouble.
Yeah, and to be clear, just what I meant in terms of diva wide receiver, I don't mean because Juju Smith-Schuster is not a criminal like Antonio Brown kind of is.
He's not a bad guy.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy, and he, if anything, he does awesome things. Like I think he used to
the Thanksgiving he would give out. Yeah.
Yeah, you would tailgate with Steelers fans in the parking lot before
Yeah,
games
yeah.
and stuff like that. Like that's all cool. But then, when you start dancing on other teams' logos and you're expected to be a number one wide receiver on your team and you're just not a number one wide receiver on your team, well, maybe stop
Yeah.
dancing on other teams' logos, which he said he would. He said publicly that he would stop dancing on other teams' logos
Which is
this
the
week.
smart
So
thing to do because you don't want to get lit up by other safeties or other cornerbacks every game, have that target on you, causing attention to, which was, Mike Tomlin probably told me, you got to stop this now. Like, this is too much now. So hopefully it turns around for them, but I am not. My thoughts for the Steelers are not very high on them right now. So
Totally agree on you, and we'll get a little bit more, even more on that in a little bit. But who do you think will shine in prime time? We got the Sunday night. We have a very intriguing Sunday night matchup between the
yeah,
Titans and the Packers in Lambeau, and then the Bills at New England in Foxborough. And I just, to me, you know what? I'm going to take the upset in the Sunday night game. I think Tennessee, Derrick Henry is going to shine in prime time over the Packers on Sunday Night Football, because I look back at that game that the Vikings played against the Packers also at Lambeau, and Dalvin Cook, 107 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. I think Derrick Henry will have a similar game compared to what Dalvin Cook did against Green Bay. And I just think, look, Aaron Rodgers, again, he's playing at an MVP level this year, and I think, the safe pick is Green Bay in this one. But I believe if there's an upset this week, it will be, I mean, one of a couple of upsets will be Tennessee over the Packers in this one, and then the Bills over the Patriots. I just think the Patriots, look, they could still, still tough division game. It's still a December game, so weather could be a factor. I don't know what the forecast is in Foxborough, but I just think that the Bills are just rolling too well right now. Josh Allen's playing at such a high level, and I just think that, no Bill Belichick with or with the talent that Bill Belichick has to work with right now, and the fact that they just got eliminated from the playoffs and don't have much to play for. And maybe, who knows, maybe Bill Belichick will even maybe want to start tanking for a higher draft pick, because he's a smart head coach, and maybe he'll want to do the right thing for that organization. So I just don't see the Patriots having much of a chance against Buffalo. So give me the Bills shining on Monday Night Football in Foxborough.
Mike, you took the words right out of my mouth about Sunday night. I'm going to Tennessee Titans too, because they got the best running back in football right now, Mr. Derrick Henry, who, when he runs and he stiff arms people, you could not pay me no matter how much amount of money to take a stiff arm from Derrick Henry. I, like you, I do think Aaron Rodgers is my MVP this year. Aaron Rodgers is my MVP for this year, because I think he's playing unbelievable this year. Just considered all the drama in the off season about Jordan Love. Is he going to stay there? All of that stuff, and he doesn't have all the weapons that Patrick Mahomes has. He has Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, yeah.
Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. But if you look at compare the weaponry, okay, the Chiefs' weaponry is up here, and then maybe the Packers is down here, right? It's a different level, right? But I'm gonna think though that Derrick Henry's gonna control this tempo of this game. Derrick Henry's gonna get his. He's gonna run roughshod. Give me the Derrick Henry and the Titans to shine in prime time on Sunday night. And like you said, exactly the same sentiments about the Bills. I think the Bills are rolling right now. The Bills are definitely rolling. We'll see what they do in the playoffs with Josh Allen and stuff. But I love the connection between him and Stephon Diggs. They're playing at an elite level right now. Stephon Diggs, left Minnesota, had things saying he was a problem, bit of a diva. He's put his head down and just worked, and he's been probably one of the best receivers, if not the best wideout in football this year. So give me the Bills as well to continue their fight to regain some AFC supremacy and prove everybody that it's not the Patriots anymore. It is their division now for the next 10 years. But Miami might have something to say about that.
Yeah, and just going back to Stephon Diggs, I think that's a lot of largely credit to Sean McDermott as a head coach. Sean
Great
McDermott,
coach. Great
I think he took over the team in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, and he led the Bills to 3 playoff appearances in those 4 years, 16, 17, 18. Right? Yeah. So in 4 appearances in 5 years. So, or three, whatever it was.
He came from Carolina, I believe, after Carolina went to the Super Bowl that year, if I do remember correctly.
But yeah, he's done a phenomenal job, and
Great
I
job.
just also, like I said, or like we're both saying, they're in a perfect position to feast on inferior AFC competition right now. Like you said, when we get to the playoffs, who knows? We'll have to see who they're playing. Also, we'll have to see what their matchup is. But just right now against inferior opponents, they're just primed to just obliterate them like they did in Denver.
Yeah, I'm down. So that I 100% agree with you with that, Mike. Like that, Sean McDermott's a great coach. Definitely has done wonderful things in Buffalo. I do agree with those sentiments. That's the Bills and the Titans. Sorry.
Yeah, now let's go to our goat of the week, and you will like my pick for the goat of the week. I will take the Seattle Seahawks, just not taking any what from the Rams, and just playing at home in Seattle. They've had trouble against the Giants defense that a couple weeks ago, sure. But I just think that the Rams will I know they lost to the Jets last week, but they're still one of the best defenses. They're still have a really good head coach in Sean McVay, but I just think that the Seahawks will be even better on Sunday, and Russell Wilson will play at a high enough level to win. The defense with Jamal Adams, with Carlos Dunlap, Bobby Wagner, they'll make enough plays and they'll force Jared Goff into a turnover or two. And I just think that the Seahawks they'll see the chance to take a 2-game lead over the LA Rams late in the season. Will they clinch they might even clinch the NFC?
Yeah. So with a win, Seattle clinches the division.
Yeah. So that's just they'll see that opportunity to clinch the division, and they will take it. Give me the Seahawks as the GOAT of the week, beating the LA Rams on Sunday.
I love that pick, Mike. I love that pick. Now I was gonna go with that. I did pick Seattle to win, but I do think that I don't know. Like, I feel like the Rams might be playing with, they might be playing with that chip on their shoulder that, they lost, were embarrassed. Sean McVay said he was sick to his stomach and stuff like that. But definitely, I do think that Seattle does pull it out. But my GOAT of the week this week will be Mr. Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is really going to kind of just settle everybody down a little bit in Baltimore. That was kind of like on edge earlier in the season. I think Lamar Jackson have against a decent Giants defense, right? Giants defense, I think it's decent, right? And I think he's really going to play just another sound game, a nice confident game, and it's really going to. I think Baltimore's a team that might catch fire at the right time and make a little run in the playoffs again. Now they have their struggles. I like what Baltimore is doing right now. I really like how Baltimore's kind of building. They had that big win against Cleveland, and they had another win against Jacksonville. So they might be moving in the right way towards the playoffs. So give me the Lamar Jackson to be the GOAT of the week for me, for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I agree with you in terms of the Giants having a strong defense, but like I said last week, Colt McCoy gives the Giants a better chance to win than Daniel Jones. Even though, okay, they only lost they lost 20-6 against the Browns last week. At least Jones didn't. Colt McCoy did not turn the ball over in that game.
Yeah.
And that's just more, but so as a result, that still to me gives you a better chance to win than Daniel Jones, who will put up the numbers, he'll put up the yards, he might throw a couple touchdown passes, but the interceptions are inevitable. But I was just looking up. So is it going to be Colt McCoy again against the Ravens on Sunday?
Yes, it looks like it will be Colt McCoy.
Okay, yeah. So then,
right
yeah,
now.
that's still a good opportunity, but yeah, it's still a decent opportunity for Lamar Jackson or the Ravens to obviously win. But I still think I need to see more from the Ravens in bigger games before we can temper those criticisms of Lamar Jackson.
Definitely.
But you know what? To your point, that win against the Browns a couple weeks ago, especially when he left the game with cramps and came back, I think that was an amazing effort by Lamar Jackson. Just got to see it in even bigger, more important games going forward.
And to think about it like this, right? Consider all the struggles the Ravens have had. They still have a very strong chance of finishing the season with 11 wins. Consider, if you can think about it right now, right? They're at 9-5 right now, I believe. And I think they play the Giants and then they play the Cincinnati. So they have a very strong chance of finishing the season with 11 wins after we consider the season to be, disappointing compared to last year. They still have 11 wins. And that just shows you the strength of how their defense is and just their culture that they can still get double-digit wins, right? So we'll see what happens, but I do think Lamar Jackson will kind of just, again, build upon the last couple of weeks, and I think he will have some success this week as well.
For sure. And we'll see if that translates to a playoff appearance, because if Miami wins both their games, which they might not because they finished with the Bills, then the Ravens will be in trouble in terms of making the playoffs. But if Miami loses a game and Baltimore wins out like they should win out against against the Giants and against the Bengals, then the Ravens will overtake the Dolphins for that final.
Looking at the standings, right? Oh, because that's right, because we forgot about Indy, Tennessee. It looks like those two teams are gonna get in there, and then yeah, you're right. Actually, I totally forgot about that. One of those
They
teams
could go
might not
11
make
and 5 and not make the playoffs. The
Yeah,
Ravens can. So, but we'll
exactly.
see. And so now let's go to our donkey of the week. And I teased this a little bit before. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I totally agree with you, will lose their fourth in a row against the Colts at home. They're just not, like you said, they're just not playing good football right now. They're just, like Big Ben throwing the ball 37 times and not even topping 200 yards and losing to the Bengals in Cincy, and a team that the Cowboys, by the way, beat 30-7 and just, beat easily. And then losing also to the Bills, losing to Washington. Like, they're going to lose. They could all of a sudden just wake up and bring it together and maybe, put up a good showing. Or Philip Rivers could even turn the ball over like he can. But I just think the Steelers
can or does.
Does, yeah. But I just think that the Steelers will just continue to defy their 11-0 or 12-0 start, whatever it was, and they will lose their fourth in a row against the Colts at home.
Like I said, Mike, I totally agree with you about that. I just think Pittsburgh, they're in a bit of trouble. And plus, then, they play a game against Cleveland, the last game of the season, which could potentially be before the division, right? And if you think about it, it doesn't look like it looks like Cleveland might win the division, right? I think if me and you both sat here today, right now, who do you think your favorite is to win the AFC North? You'd have to say the Browns, would you not? Where both teams are going, right? So,
who's the Browns? The Browns finish.
Browns play with the Jets and they play the Steelers.
So
the Steelers could
division, yeah.
The Steelers could potentially head to the playoffs with a 5-game losing streak, which is not good whatsoever, right?
Or even miss the playoffs. Did they clinch?
I didn't. No, they clinched a spot already, I believe.
Oh, so they did clinch. Okay.
I'm pretty sure the Pittsburgh has clinched a spot. If I do,
I'll confirm that.
Yes, Pittsburgh has clinched a spot. So Pittsburgh's in regardless because I guess their divisional record, but the division's no lock, right? So I think it's definitely it's teetering right now.
Yeah, but with that being said, I want to get into. I'm excited about my brainlessly bold prediction right here. I'm excited, and I'm gonna have to lower my gain on my microphone because I'm gonna get again. My heart is with the fans of the New York Jets, and as a result, my brainlessly bold prediction will be that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to upset the Chicago Bears. I don't know if Gardner Minshew or Mike Glennon's playing or will be starting. They're gonna start whichever quarterback plays better in practice this week, but I still think that Mitch Trubisky on the road will, even though they won 3 in a row, and even though I picked against them and they won, even though I picked against them the last 2 or 3 games, whatever it's been in a row, I still think that the Jaguars will win against the Chicago Bears. And that will give the New York Jets the first overall pick once again because the Browns will beat the Jets. So I think that the Jets will have dodged a bullet by beating the LA Rams last week, and they will reclaim the first overall position.
Mike, I hope you are right for Jets fans' sake once again. I did hurt them a little bit last week with my pick on them winning, and they proved me right and they won. My brainlessly bold prediction for this week is that it was tough for me. I think I wanted to do Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a big game, but then again, it's against the Rams, so I kind of steered away from that. But I think that Mr. Tua Tagovailoa has a very big game against a poor Raiders defense, and I think he throws for 3-4 touchdowns, a couple hundred yards, and maybe rushes for a score. I think Tua has his breaking out game against the Raiders and has a very big game against the Raiders. So give me Tua scoring throws for 3 or more touchdowns and rushes for 1 touchdown as well. So 4 touchdowns at least from Mr. Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, honestly, I can see that happening. I can see Tua having a similar game that he had against the Arizona Cardinals back in like week 10 or whatever it was, where it was like him and Kyler Murray going back and forth in a shootout. And I just think that, yeah, like I agree with you. I mean, Tua could have a really big statistical game in this one against the Raiders because of how poor that defense is. So yeah, I vibe with that. I definitely vibe with that. Yeah. Well, Justin, happy holidays, man, and Merry Christmas to you and your family if you celebrate. We celebrate on my mom's side of the family because my mom's side of the family is Catholic. So we're gonna be handing out. We're gonna be going around town just delivering their Christmas gifts. So do you have
Yeah.
anything planned?
Yeah, so I do celebrate Christmas. We have, of course, I'm not don't do the church stuff and all like that, but we celebrate more for just spending time with family and stuff. But so we had a couple days. We delivered a couple presents to my young cousins and stuff like that. I had as weird as ever it could be. I had a Christmas dinner on Zoom last night, which was weird, but it's 2020. I have another Christmas Zoom dinner tonight, which is again, it's cool. You don't have to. I can wear sweats. Don't have to dress up, so that's a positive. And I have Christmas dinner tomorrow with my immediate family. So yeah, happy holidays to you, Mike. Happy holidays to everybody else. Keep on remaining safe and everything like that. And can't wait to see you next week for our final week of this before we get into the playoffs. So it'll be fun.
Yes, and yes, with that being said, you said a very important thing there. Please celebrate Christmas safely. I know it sucks. I know it's difficult. I know it's 2020. I know we want to be, tight, just gather with our families like we always do. And trust me, we experience this too for the Jewish holidays as well. And even no matter what holidays you're celebrating in 2020, you can't gather with your family like you normally do. So I know that part is tough, but please, to all those watching, to all those listening, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and please celebrate the holidays in a COVID-friendly manner.
Exactly. Thank you again, Mike. Stay safe.
Of course, and to our audience, once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this Langer at the Mic Christmas special with Justin Pooni of Process Sports Radio. Give him a follow at Process Sports on Instagram and at _Process Sports on Twitter. Subscribe to his channel and my YouTube channel here at Langer at the Mic, and give us a big thumbs up on this video. And thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays, and we'll see you again next time.